You see, like, I'm on top of your bottom.
Yeah, I changed it so we're both on the screen.
Okay, yay. So, hi.
Hello.
Oh my God, it's like you're watching a video.
I know, right? Hello, potential viewers. Hello. We are here today. My first ever collab. I'm super excited. I'm here with... We are here today. We are going to talk about Titans and everything within it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we basically we became friends. So let's just point out some views.
Right?
We became friends over the course of yesterday. How? We don't know.
It just happened, and it was...
We had a business call over Instagram at 12,
and it lasted until 11 p.m.
That was a day. I was like, wait a minute.
Watch party. Then we talked about Titans. Then we talked about like our favorite things. Then we talked about Spider-Man, and then we ended up watching Spider-Man cartoon, and then we ended up watching Speed Racer cartoon because I had to show the anime, and then we were like, "Let's see you at 12." And that was
so it's been a hell of a 24 hours, but it's been great. So season 4 is right around the corner, guys. We are
11 days.
Yes,
11 days. I'm saying that. I'm like, wow, it's almost a week away.
Almost time. Like, I'm super excited. We are both really, really excited. And just a disclaimer, we are both Dickkory fans. So
if you're not, get off the channel.
No, don't get off the channel. We just know that we're Dickkory shippers, okay? So we do want
to. So I'm always going to be Dickkory shipper. If wherever Kory wants to go with her best interest, I stand. Unless it's the therapist guy, then we don't stand. But that's
no. I hope he never comes back.
I don't think he is. If he does, though, that'd be so funny. Like people are always like, I keep seeing this. It's like I want Kory to call. What was his name? But anyway, like they were like, I want him to call, and then Dick becomes jealous because Kory's on the phone.
That would be funny if that's the only way he's allowed to come back. Otherwise, you can leave him. He didn't even serve the story because he didn't help Kory with her vision. So
he really didn't. All he was that she's not human. I'm like, you didn't.
We needed 3 seasons to learn that she's not human. Thank you so much.
And it's supposed to be also about Rachel and Gar. And we barely saw like a couple of snippets of them, but I still don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, so, I don't know what's happening with them either. Like I know there was in the teaser they were like not cuddled, but they were sitting together comfortably, and the actress went online immediately and shut that down. She
was like, no.
It's not what you think it is. It was just filmed weird.
Sorry for all the BBRae fans. It's just that, like, okay, so I'm part of the Titans community on Twitter. Don't judge me. And I remember when that teaser came out, everyone was freaking out. They're like, no, ew. Even though I was confused because I'm like, I know this ship was really popular in the past, but why? Because see, the actress Tegan Croft who plays Raven, she just turned 18. Like she just turned 18. And Brian Potter, who plays Beast Boy, he's like 27. So it was like people were like weirded out because they were like cuddled up like this, and people were like, "That's so weird how the second she turned 18, all of a sudden they're a couple." Yeah. But the actress literally went on chair was like, "Nope."
Which good because I actually really enjoyed their friendship. And I don't think it really needs to take it to that next step right now. I feel like they're in a great spot. They had a lot of moments. Well, maybe not a lot, but they had some great moments last season. And I'm hoping they just build on that and not get a relationship. You know, I don't know if we're ready. I'm not ready for that yet.
Especially because, like, I said this yesterday. It would be really weird because we know we're getting Dick and Kory, and it'd be really weird if like half the team becomes couples because it would just be so weird because they have this thing where they're like a family, which is true. They are like a family where Dick and Kory are the parents, but it'd be so weird. Like they're a couple, and then Beast Boy and Raven would be a couple, and then Connor and Blackfire came back, and then they would also be a couple. Like it would just be so
hell of a family. Everybody's swapping fluids.
Person in the group who didn't have, like, because for instance, like Tim, he might have Bernard this season, but Bernard's not on the Titans. So it'd be so weird if Tim was just like the only person who wasn't romantically interested in someone on the team, and then he'd just stand there and he'd be like, "What sweet home Alabama." Like, it would be a little too weird. I get it, they're not family, but it's like it would ruin the family vibe that we've grown to.
Especially because they established within the first season, like Gar and Raven really look up to Dick and Kory as like parental figures. Like that was set up from the first season. So to kind of move that around, especially when we've been asking for them to feel like a team and a family for so long, it would just be a little too much. Like, let's calm down.
Kory this season don't need to get the children together. That was double date. Oh my God.
This season, if Dick and Kory do not find their way to each other,
we're gonna start screaming.
Yeah. The only thing is, I know Brenton came out and said that, you know, kind of take the whole season. And while I understand that, because there really hasn't been a lot of buildup, thank you, writers, but, you know, it just, I don't want it to take the whole season because we've waited enough.
I have a theory about that, right?
Oh, do tell.
I don't think it's going to take the entire season. You know what I mean? Because this is the thing, that Dick and Kory, like, we know because, okay, so you don't know about this because you're not on Tumblr or Twitter, but I became invested and I was on Tumblr and Twitter a lot.
Sure.
And so I know about a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that was popping up. And this was popping up early in production. It was popping up like when they were filming like the 4th or 5th episode. So it's gonna be in part 1. Like there's so many pictures of stuff that seems to be happening when they're filming the 4th or 5th episode. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's going to be content. Because you know how Brenton likes to play too. Like Brenton loves to play with Dick and Kory fans. He really does. Earlier this year, after the picture of them like acting all cuddly at the bowling alley came out like months ago, he came out with an interview later on saying how, oh, they're just friends and they're coming for co-workers. I'm like, you, sir, why are you pulling our emotions? Right. So it's like, I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. Because
it's gotta be something. Like, the problem with Dick and Kory is that they had the physical connection and then that was it. We had little itty bitty pieces of their emotional connection, but it was not enough. And I really think that's something they need to focus on with season 4, like having a date and really having a conversation on where they stand. Like just little things like that need to happen so we can really build to that sweet Dick Kory. And I would be okay with that. I would be very excited. This first episode, I already know it's just gonna freaking.
I'm gonna
die.
I'm gonna sort of video right here of my reaction when I first saw it because when
finally they dropped the trailer for Titans season 4, and I go on Twitter. The first thing I see was somebody like the little gif of a part from the trailer, and it was a Dick and Kory they were the bully and Kory like laid her head on his shoulder, and I literally screamed. I literally screamed. The cuteness level was just too much for me to handle. This season looks so good, but oh my God. That's it.
So season 4 is right around the corner, as we said. You know, we are both really, really excited, but we could take it back, you know, rewind the clock and really just give maybe a quick overall thoughts on seasons 1 through 3. I mean, what led you to watch this show initially?
Okay, so what happened is that my dad, the reason why I'm a nerd is because of my father.
Sure.
And so I remember when the show first came out, and I remember there was a backlash about there was a Black Starfire. I didn't really care because I wasn't really watching, like I wasn't really into DC at the time because I was still more of like the Marvel fan, and I was just getting into the Flash. But yeah, and then so over last winter, I was back home during break because I'm in college right now, and my stepbrothers and I were watching like the Teen Titans cartoon, which I'd never really seen. And so we were watching it and I was enjoying it. And then the live action just for some reason popped into my head. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that show. So then when we were finished watching it, I went back to my room and I went on HBO Max and I saw it was on there. So then I just started watching it and then I fell in love with it.
That's kind of, well, it's not similar. For me, like I said yesterday, sorry, eating. But like I said yesterday, I am a DC head. So when I heard the news of this show coming out, I was super stoked. I wasn't stoked that initially it was on DC Universe and not really just put to HBO Max. I think that kind of lessened people's excitement because it's like, I have to purchase this thing to even watch it. So for a while, it took me a minute to finish season 1 because I didn't want to purchase DC Universe. But once it went to HBO Max, I binged. It was wonderful. Outside of season 2, that's a blur. But otherwise, it was great. You guys have seen my thoughts on the channel. So it's been a ride. And honestly, it can only go up from here. Everything looks great, what they've been giving us, what they've been telling us. So I just hope for the best because I want nothing but the best for Titans. Like, come on. Oh my God. Oh, what do we want for season 4? What do we have any wishes?
I want them to just be a family again. I want
you and me both.
See, it's hard because a lot of the things I want, I'm actually getting, so I'm kind of excited. Like, I wanted Dick and Kory, I wanted Gar to get a storyline, I wanted his super suit, I wanted a villain that actually posed a challenge that wasn't anything to do with the Batman.
Yeah.
And that's getting all that because the Church of Blood, Superboy, as people are pointing out, is super powerful. And they're like, why haven't they used him? Well, Superboy is actually vulnerable to blood magic, so he's not going to be able to just use all his powers. There's actually a villain who's like powerful enough to blast their strongest member and stop them in 1 second. So it's like this one. I'm like, how are they going to defeat them? I actually have no idea.
I guess that's where Jinx may come in. I mean, she's typically a super villain, so I don't know how long her team work with them is going to last. But I'm excited. I'm excited for for Gar to finally have a storyline, finally have some development. Like, the fact that Ryan co-wrote episode 4 is very, very it's such a confidence booster. I'm super excited to see that particular episode. The 1st and the 4th and the 5th are gonna be the ones that I'm looking out for. And just the fact that Superboy is gonna have something to do, because the writers have always struggled with that since he was introduced. It's gonna be magnificent. I'm so excited. I'm super excited. And I also already made a video talking about what I kind of want from season 4. So yeah.
I'm sorry, the show took me out. It really did. It was giving golf that Sunday.
I was like, when would he wear that? Like, ever? I've never seen him wear anything outside of...
I've never seen him wear anything with color.
Yeah, like, never, actually. Outside of his suit, where it has the blue, that's it, really. Which is so crazy. I'm trying to think who really wears the brightest colors amongst the two.
Gar.
Yeah. Immediately Gar. And then second will be Kory, and then that's... No,
Kory wears she wears sometimes bright, but it's always like sleek bright. Like, it's like the sleekest outfit. It's the brightest outfit, the brightest color she might wear is like a design on something purple. Like,
that's true. And then who will be next? Tim?
I mean, Tim's new, I would guess. It's not Rachel.
No.
Has Rachel worn anything
in black since the first season?
Has she worn anything that's not black? I'm really trying to think.
I don't think she has. I think she's lived in black since season 1.
And then Connor, I think he wears the same black shirt every day.
Yeah. That's in line. He's not keen on change.
First of all, okay, we're about to go to what the fandom annoys what Moses most with the fandom.
Yes.
And one thing, they're just too picky. Like,
do give an example.
Okay, so what annoys about the fandom, they're so picky about the suits, man. Like, for instance, like that some people really complain, like, oh my god, why is Superboy wearing such a basic costume? I'm like, that's
from the
comics. That's what he wears. Like, there's probably some other iterations of it, but like, when you look up Superboy, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see him wearing that black t-shirt with the S and some jeans. Like, that's all he wears.
The boots, that's it. Like, combat boots, that's literally it. Even if you don't read the comics, anyone who watched a second of Young Justice understands that that's what he wears. He wore that the entire series. Like, please, people, know your stuff.
And it's like sometimes the fans, like, or people who aren't even fans who are just ignorant, like, they're always like coming after people, the writers and stuff, for like the stupidest things.
Right.
Like, we talked about this yesterday. So you know how you hated how Kory looked in the first season.
This is fact.
Well, I pointed out that actually, I don't know, my whole screen just disappeared for a second. Actually, the things that you saw were actually pretty accurate given how Kory looks in the original comics. Like, in the original comics, she looks just like that. And I'm going to go up on our Instagram chat so that I can show, because I shared it with you through there.
Yes, I didn't know this. I didn't know that look was taken directly from the comics. The only thing that resonated with me was her wig. Not only that it was awful, but the curly pattern was very reminiscent of her 80s look. And this is the
it's literally like, it's like they literally copy and pasted it. I first thought it was a fan photo, like it was like someone who was trying to make it like the original, but then I'm like, oh no, I'm like, huh?
And I didn't know this, so this was a shock to me.
And there's other examples, like, there's not like, they'd be like, oh, she dressed like a hooker. This is exactly what she looked like. This is exactly what she was supposed to look like. These were her looks. Like, these were her looks.
Look, she looks like a hooker.
She looked like street clothes. So the people who are like, oh, she looks tacky. I'm like, if you paid attention to the original material, that's how she dressed. So it's not tacky, it's paying homage to the original content.
I do appreciate that they paid homage. I think it just rubbed me the wrong way that, you know, we have this black woman here and this is what we decided to pay homage to. And so I can understand people who said it was tacky, but it's like, okay. I think it was the wig for me. The wig.
They didn't have the budget back then, so you gotta be a little bit more lenient.
I can be lenient, but it's also like, good Lord, like, the wig was supposed to pull it all together. I think if her hair had been very long and curly, that
crochet braids.
I would have been more open to it. But it just didn't work out. But they stepped up their cookies by season 2. So honestly,
they went straight to the European whip.
Yeah, straight to the European whip. I said, oh, okay, I guess y'all gave up on the curly hair that quick.
But they went back to it season 3.
They did a little bit. So I give them credit for that, because when we saw her in season 2, I was like, what is this? Like, oh, you just straighten your hair really quick. Thanks so much.
But I saw with people like over Twitter, like, okay, so Kiki Palmer and Megan Thee Stallion, they had like curly, like really curly red hair, and people this is what we could have had.
That would have been dope if her hair was like that. That would have been so cute. And I feel like it's just really dark right now, and the lighting is not the best.
In the pictures, like when she takes regular pictures, it looks so like deep red.
Great, yeah.
But we look in the show, and she had black hair.
I was like, oh my god, what the hell are you doing? Like,
I just showed you on Tumblr. Her hair is like deep red. Do we ever see this? I'm going to show it again. Do we ever see it this deep red in the show?
No. Because of the lighting. They always like to film things at night and put a blue filter over it, which I've talked about. I cannot stand that blue filter. But
like, look how deep her hair looks.
Look how red that is. But even in the teaser, it wasn't that color. At least we can see that.
Dark. It was dark.
Yeah. I'm like, guys, you gotta get it together immediately.
You can't see her hair color.
Yeah, and that's why I'm afraid for these suits, because they look great in the photos that they showed us, the for Brother Blood and Jinx, but then you see Mother Mayhem in the dark. You can barely make out her costume, really. So I'm afraid the lighting is going to ruin a lot of these wonderful colors or just costumes and everything. It's just, it sucks.
I think they'll point it out. They're like, oh, you said we didn't have colors, and then you see yellow, you see red, you see purple. Like, see, we have colors other than blue.
They're like, okay, that's great, but then you still put the blue filter on.
See, this is why I said, we talked about this yesterday about the blue filter. I feel like the blue filter, I get it sometimes because, like, for instance, if we're in Gotham, yeah, it needs to be dark, make it blue. But when it's nighttime, when you guys film like a scene at night, you don't need the blue filter. You already have a blue filter. It's called the moon. Like, you don't need to add more blue because, like, it's, first of all, it ruins the shots because the costumes are like one of the best things about Titans. Like, you can do everyone about the show, but the costumes are always on point. But they kind of get ruined by the lighting, and it's a shame because, like, Anna Diop, she recently talked about in a podcast where she was promoting her new movie Nanny, how she's talking about she talked about Titans for a brief second because she was talking about lighting, and she was talking about how she hates the blue filter because she had to fight for 2 to 3 years to get proper lighting because she felt like she couldn't be seen in the first and second season with the lighting, and it's just like a shame because she's a dark-skinned actress, and it's like it took her 2 to 3 years for them to finally listen to her and give her proper lighting is infuriating.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, she's a main character, and she's the one who's gonna be hit really the hardest because she's a dark-skinned actress. She needs the great lighting, and you're not giving it to her, and you're hurting her character, and it sucks. Like, everyone has talked about that blue filter. It's to a point where you physically cannot see. You have to turn up the brightness on your TV. You were telling me that, and I have to do that too.
Literally, when I watched it for the first time on my computer, like the first season, especially the first few episodes. I turned my brightness up all the way, and I still could barely see anything. Like, I could not see what was going on. Like, it made me so angry.
It was bad. It was really bad. And even with season 3, I had to turn up my brightness.
Well, I understand the darkness. You're in Gotham.
I understand that, but when you can't physically see what's happening, then you've gone too far. Like,
Well, they did step it up because a lot of times when you couldn't see anything was during the fighting scenes. But in season 3, they did step it up with the lighting because I was able to actually see their faces during the fighting scenes.
That's true. And they had like creative things.
Dark, I was still able to see it.
Yeah, and they had like little creative, like what's it called? They used the lighting, like when Jason and Dick were fighting in that forest, and they used, his sticks, whatever they're called. It escapes me. But they used creative lighting choices, and it helped to illuminate the scene, and stuff like that is great. So I think they definitely have stepped it up for season 3. And I hope they
hopefully season 4 they step up a little bit because so far all I've seen is darkness.
Literally that whole Mother Mayhem fight, I was like,
I couldn't see anything, but was so mad was that the in person because they gave us an in episode shot of it, and the in episode shot you actually saw the colors of the costume. Like, it was dark, but you could see the costume and you could see like the details of people's stuff. But then in the actual episode, like the actual trailer, it was just not there.
That Mother Mayhem fight, I was like,
I can't see anything.
The only thing you could see was Mother Mayhem when she shot her red electricity or whatever, and then Kory fought back with her blue lighting,
and I want to point something out. A lot of people think that, like, I saw a lot of YouTube videos where people are like, oh, season 3 failed Kory again. I don't really think they failed her again. So let me
explain.
Because see, in seasons 1 and 2, Kory barely had any screen time or any deep dive into her past. I mean, season 2 there might have been some, but like I said before yesterday, I kind of skimmed through season 2, so I wouldn't be that sure. But season 3, I feel like it was consistently, like Kory was consistently dealing with something. Like, she wasn't just always off the side. Like she constantly had a storyline almost every episode. And it really was like we were seeing her deal with the visions, and then her like losing control and being scared, and then her like finding out what actually happened to her. And I feel like even though people, like, I don't know, maybe just people just didn't like what was like the end result was, but I feel like they actually did pay attention to her in the end. Like, I don't feel like they failed her. I mean, could they may have done that a little bit better? Maybe, but I don't feel like they failed her. I feel like they did constantly give her attention the whole season and constantly give her a storyline.
I can understand that. I think they I don't know, it's weird because she did have screen time. She did sort of have something going on. But it was connected to Blackfire. And my thing is, they spent so much time on Blackfire, which is not terrible, but she didn't end up being the main antagonist, so it felt really weird. They spent all this time on her, and Kory kind of felt forgotten in a weird sense. Even though she had all this screen time, we didn't really learn anything more about her personally. Like, we had her visions, but then we never followed up on that. And maybe we will in season 4, and that'll be great. But, you know, we started up with these visions again, and they never led anywhere. So it's like, okay, Kory feels like she's in the same place that she was at the start of the season. So I feel like I'm glad that she got that screen time. Like, I definitely agree with you. She had something going on. She had the screen time. She was very much with the team when Dick wasn't. Like, she stepped up in that regard. Yeah, she stepped up as a leader. But I think her personally, they kind of failed in really touching on that. And hopefully they pick it up season 4. We'll see. It's weird because at this point, let's just focus on Gar because he literally hasn't had anything. So let's focus on Gar a little more, but
let's talk about the racism.
Yes.
People so ignorant. People were always going on in a Diop talking. Even to this day, will be like, why is, like, there's a clip and I'm like, why is Starfire black? And it just gets on my nerves. I'm like, dude, we've been here for like almost 5 years. Can you let it go? Like, and second of all, people are so ignorant because if you knew this before the media and cartoons whitewashed Starfire, she was actually based off of a black woman for a lot of the iterations of her.
Yep.
Like, a lot of the 80s, a lot of the 90s and 2000s iterations of her was based off of Naomi Campbell, a dark-skinned black woman. And people were just like, well, why don't you hire a Latina or a light-skinned or a white person to play her? I'm like, she's orange. It doesn't matter. And look at her features. She has full lips. She has curves. She has great bone structure. Not saying that other ethnicities can't have this, but it's just like all these features. And then plus the Naomi Campbell tidbit. It's like, dude. And then when she first came, she had these big, luscious curls.
Right.
Like,
clearly inspired by black women.
Her having straight hair, her having light skin, that was not how she first came out. She first came out looking like a black woman, but she's an alien. She can be any race she wants. But the fact that they saw her and they're like, oh, this doesn't look white. It's like, it wouldn't look any more right with a white person or a light-skinned person because it's not paying homage to what she's based off of, and it doesn't matter. And it's just like, it just gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
It's just
and
like,
we were talking about this yesterday, how we think that might play into why it's taking so long for Dick and Kory to get together. Because if she were white, I guarantee you they would be in a relationship right now. There's no reason why Dick he's stuck on Dawn for basically the first 2 seasons.
Even though she's taken.
Yeah, like, and then it's Barbara, Dick Babs in the 3rd season. Like, all of these obstacles for what?
I'm so happy they only kissed once.
They only kissed once, and they never even talked about it. Like, they didn't even address each other romantically. Like, nothing happened. So why are you wasting our time? It's just, oh my god, it's insane. It's insane.
You know what's so funny is that after Anna Diop was cast as Starfire, all the comics, like, you know how a lot of the comics it's Dick Babs now?
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's like the second Anna Diop was casted, all of a sudden the comic books, they kind of like pushed Kory away and then make Barbara Dick's main love interest. And it's just like disgusting.
Oh my god, I don't understand because
every comic book right now it's all about saying like, oh, Barbara is Dick's one true love, and it's like it literally started around the time Anna Diop was cast as Starfire. So it's just like
coincidence? I think not.
No.
And that's funny too because Dick was horrible to Barbara in the comics. I mean, he was a dick. Like he's really a playboy, and he's cheated on Barbara with Kory multiple times,
and vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. So my man's is not the best, but to say that Barbara's his one true love, I don't really believe that.
If Barbara was his one true love, then how come in every cartoon or any media, it's always Starfire and Nightwing? It's never Barbara.
The only one I can think of in recent memory where it was Dick and Babs was Young Justice, because season 3 she was Oracle and they were together. That's the only thing.
But didn't Young Justice kind of break them up?
I think I'm trying to,
because I remember
I know they were together. I feel like they stayed.
And isn't Kory and Dick, weren't Kory and Dick also together in Young Justice? I swear they were.
No, because Kory wasn't in that show. None of the Beast Boys.
Maybe I'm thinking about something else. I think I'm thinking about the movies.
Oh yeah, you might be thinking about the movies, because the movies, they were never together. It was Dick and Starfire throughout like the New 52-esque thing. And the animated TV show, she and Dick were together, but they ended up breaking up because of her relationship with Batman and Dick wanting to be independent. So every time there's always something that breaks them up. So it's like,
but now in the comics, when Anna Diop was cast as Starfire, all of a sudden it's like literally the amount of times I see this stuff, it's like, well, there's finally a winner in the Batgirl versus Starfire, Dick and Barbara in a love, and their one true love. I'm like, this is literally happening when there's a black skinned woman playing Starfire on TV.
Right. Coincidence? I think not. But that's okay, because everybody knows Diop is a breakout. She is the moment on Titans. And I promise you, if anything happens with her and her character, the people will leave the show. They will not watch the show. Like, period. Like, any one of those cast members, really. But a lot of people have fallen with Anna Diop. Like, come on.
And she plays it great. Like, people are like, she's horrible. I'm like, actually, this is the first live action iteration of Starfire, and she plays it great. Like, her emotions, the way she plays it, it's great according to the comics. So I don't know what they're talking about, how she does a horrible job.
I don't see it. I feel like she's done a great job, and she continues to do a great job, even with the material that she's given. So what are you even saying? Like, come on, people. We can't play these games. I think we're at the ranting session now. Was there anything in particular with the show that just, and you want to just get it out there? There's a slew. The thing that Titans really struggles with is payoffs. There are so many moments with Dickkory, with other characters, where you set up something and we don't see the payoff. Like, how many little Dickkory moments happen off screen, or it just never happens? Like, so many. Gar has had zero payoffs for stuff that happened with him last season, the first season, and the actor Ryan said that he's gonna have some payoffs this season, which is great. But they just really struggle with that with these characters, and I hope that they get it together, because I'm at my wit's end. WB. I'm not really playing around with you guys anymore, so I'm at my wit's end.
I mean, the trailer, it got me so excited. I was like, it looks so good. It's giving budget. It's giving blockbuster. It's movie. It's giving. It was giving. I want to talk about something else. Jinx. People have attacked the actress because they got mad that they didn't cast a dark skinned actress. First of all, you get mad when we cast a light skinned we cast an Indian woman, but then you get mad when we cast a dark skinned Starfire. Make it make sense. Anyway.
What, Jinx isn't? She's not dark skinned in the comics, is she?
She is, though. Remember I sent that because I remember this is how
you corrected me. I remember you corrected me on that. Hold on.
Yeah, because you thought that she was a black woman, but I corrected you in the comments and said actually she's a dark-skinned Indian woman.
Yes. That's right.
Well, she doesn't seem that light-skinned in the trailer. She actually seems like she's not like super dark-skinned, but she doesn't seem like she's light-skinned. Like she seems like she's a medium.
Maybe little medium. I'm looking at these photos. I mean, I kind of
not the lighting, the pictures. I mean the in episodes. Like
yeah. No, the in episode, she looks all right. Like the when the costume photo came out, that's all lighting. Don't attack the actress, regardless of how you feel. Don't attack the actress.
And they attacked her hair too. They hated the hair. I don't actually mind the hair. I think it looks great.
Let me see, the wig that they had in the costume photo, I did not like that. But within the show, it looked fine. So I think it was just...
people, they hated it. But this thing though, it pays homage to both the cartoon. Because in the cartoon, they completely whitewashed her.
Oh, yeah. For the longest time. I was like, oh.
Like, I remember somebody first said, they're like, why did they hire an Indian woman to play Jinx? I'm like, this is what Jinx is actually supposed to look like. She's not this goth white girl. She's actually an Indian woman. So, shut up.
A hot mess.
And it was just like, people like attacked the wig. They attacked her. They're like, oh, we need a dark skin. Or people either said that they wanted her as a darker Indian actress, or they wanted a white girl to play like the version of her in the cartoon. And it just made me angry because I'm like, shut up.
Like, even regardless of how you feel, I feel like, yeah, they could have picked a darker skinned actress, but I'm not going to attack the actress for that. She really has nothing to do with that. This is all in the creative people who made this decision. So be mad at them. Don't be mad at her. She had nothing to do with it. Like,
this is what I mean when they nitpick everything. Like, people will always find something to complain about the show. They will always, even the haters, like the amount of people who like, they say this show sucks. Like on Twitter the other day, somebody was like, hey, I don't know, I'm thinking about watching these DC shows, which ones are good? And it was Watchmen, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, and Titans. And almost every single comment was like, oh, watch every single one except for Titans. And I'm like, the hate that this show gets, it's insane, because there's so many shows that have the same problem as Titans, but they are loved for some reason. And I'm just like, why?
I don't
it's not
know.
perfect. Is it perfect? No, but
no.
Like the fact that you're like, this show is garbage. I'm like, because people are like, oh, why is Dick Grayson so violent? That's more Jason Todd. I'm like, it's not Teen Titans. It is Titans. It is a darker version of it. It's not gonna be sunshines and rainbows. It's an iteration. It's not supposed to be copy and paste from the comics. And that what just annoys me. They always talk about the smallest things. I'm like, dude, this is not Teen Titans. It is Titans. They are not teenagers. They are grown adults, and it plays into his character and it plays into his story. So it just makes me so angry, like the hate the show gets, which is why I was so happy at Comic-Con. It stole the show.
Oh, period.
Like I wasn't expecting it to, but it took all the attention at Comic-Con, which was such like a great thing, because I just loved how people were like, the fans have like kind of like reunited and pushed through all the negativity. It was like, this show is great. Like it was trending on Twitter for like 5 days straight. It already has a million views for the trailer, and the trailer hasn't even been up for a week. And it's just like, I'm happy that the show's finally getting the positive recognition that it deserves, because it's not horrible. Is it perfect? No, but no show is. But it's just people will pick on this. And once again, I think this is also to start off by the fact that people hate on the show the second they casted a dark-skinned actress. People hate on the show the second they found out that Rick Dason was a little bit violent. It's like, they just see it, and if it's not exactly what they want, they hate on it so much. And it's like, I'm just happy the show's finally getting the positive recognition that it deserves.
The Titans season 4 trailer right now has 2.4 million views.
Oh crap! Because yesterday was at
1.7, and it's been out for 3 days. So period. Like, we're pulling the numbers, and that's why I don't understand why Zaslav and they're trying to axe all these shows
when the shows are what bringing people in. It's not the movies. The movies might bring people in, but it will make them stay.
Yeah, the shows are what's having people stay, I feel like, right now, because the WB and the DCEU is in such a disastrous state right now. But your shows are your calming ground right now. Like,
yeah, and if you gave them more budget that they deserve, I bet you would pour in even more people like that.
Yeah, and there's no reason why it shouldn't have a higher budget. But it's weird. Even with their budget, the writers, I feel like y'all should have found creative ways to utilize said budgets, but that's another story. But it's like, why are you going to axe this show when it pulls in the viewership? Season 3.
Yeah, especially Titans. Like Titans, I'm like, if it gets axed, that's gonna be a big shock because literally Titans, even since season 1, was one of the most watched streaming service, one of the most watched streaming service shows over like after everything. Like it was up to competing with like Stranger Things and Bridgerton and like The Boys. Like those are like shows that everybody watches,
right?
And Titans was on those lists, and it's like you might even if you don't like it, even if it's like it has some negative stuff, the numbers don't lie. Like the numbers are always high every season. You can't.
Every season.
So it's like if you ask that, you're gonna lose so many people, especially now when like the fans are like so excited for this season because like they're finally listening to the fans. We're getting the storylines we want. We're getting the couple we want, and then the people from Jason Morgan. He's bringing people from Vampire Diaries and the originals. So it's like this season is literally like we're getting what we want. So if you ask it after this season, it's going to be so upsetting because this season I can already tell is going to have the most views and the most streams because look, we're already having the most views and streams right now with the trailer and with Twitter and teasers and stuff. So it's like, don't be stupid because you want to focus on Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman because it's like, dude, we've seen that 10,000 times and it's not pulling in enough. And the reason why you're even in a situation because you put so much faith in those films and then they don't do as well as you think they are, and then that's why you're in a situation in the first place.
You can't axe this show right now. It's pulling in the numbers, it's pulling in the viewership. The critics have been pretty positive, at least towards season 3.
Yeah, season 3 it had like 100. Like the critics loved season 3. Even if the fans were iffy on it, the critics loved it.
Yeah, and I just feel like there are so many other shows on HBO Max, at least like the DC wise. Like you could Peacemaker.
They already axed Injustice.
Yeah, they already axed Injustice.
We talked this yesterday. I'm mad, but if they have to act on Justice and it gives Titans a more chance, I'm okay.
No, they both have to stay. No, especially the way
season 4 ended. Listen, I need Dick and Kory, so I have to go. I've invested myself in the show too much.
I know, and I'm there too, but it's like the way Young Justice ended. It needs to see.
I get it. I understand my parents are upset, but once again, if acting on Justice helps Titan situation.
No. Absolutely not.
Because I knew Harley Quinn was going to get axed, so I'm like, I really hope that.
If anything, axe Harley Quinn. Like, that show
it wasn't going to get axed. Even though I didn't really like season 3 a lot, I knew it was going to get axed.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't.
Because you had backlash from the LGBTQ community.
And it's like, well, okay, but they should be upset at the writers for how they put Harley and Ivy together because they literally had them cheat to get together. But you know what? If you like it, I love it. Whatever. But it's just like, axe that show, or I don't want them to axe Doom Patrol. I like Doom Patrol, but I
thought you said yesterday that you couldn't really. It was confusing.
What, Doom Patrol? It can be, but I like the show. I think it's really well written. But I understand why you would feel like it's confusing because you said yesterday like it was kind of weird for you to get into, right? Doom Patrol.
Yeah, because I didn't know it was funny.
Yeah, so initially I started watching Doom Patrol because of Cyborg because they decided to not have him on Titans, which was that's a whole thing. But
I don't know why. Maybe maybe they were playing on it, but then Doom Patrol became its own thing. And like, nope, you can't.
Yeah, and it's so weird because you have Cyborg on Doom Patrol, but not Beast Boy, even though he has a relationship with them. So at the same time,
people are hoping because there's a crossover with Stargirl and then possibly meet.
Oh yeah, guys, there's gonna be a crossover.
They're on different Earths.
Yeah. I forgot, guys. There's gonna be a crossover with Titans and Stargirl this season.
And possibly Doom Patrol. We don't know yet.
Possibly Doom Patrol. That has not been confirmed though. But Stargirl has been. So I'm really interested on what they're gonna do with that.
I think it's just Gar because I only saw Gar.
Oh, damn.
It was just Gar.
They said we only have enough money to send one, not the whole.
It was after they filmed everything. Like I think that was like the end of the filming. Like everybody was already done.
They said, okay, you filmed your stuff. You're good to go. So just why don't you head over to Stargirl, okay?
Ryan,
Represent the Titans well, and then come back so we can do the rest, okay? We can't send the other people. Let's just send you. And I'm okay with that. But also,
I'm just confused how they're gonna do it because they're on different Earths.
yeah, I don't know how.
And after the thing of all of the crisis on the Infinity of Earths thing, I'm very curious how they're gonna do that because I thought we can't travel to any Earths anymore. So I'm very curious.
So I guess
we need a season 5 because I feel like season 5 might be the last season because people are like, I feel like, but it's like give them the complete end of the story. Come on.
Yeah, I feel like they're on their last leg.
Especially if they end the season, because last year they didn't end the season on a cliffhanger. If this season they did end on a cliffhanger and then it got canceled, oh my god, I would have started to cry. I would start to cry.
I hope not, because I think season 5, like you said, definitely is going to be their last. So they're going all in, and I love that. But let them finish this out. Let us just have that.
Let's just have one season of Dick and Kory completely as a couple, please.
Right. Having their fights, what have you, but within the team, you know that they are together.
And then like the family's back together, and then they go fight something, and it ends. And like the Titans being led by like Gar, Rachel, Connor, Tim. Maybe Jason comes back. Who knows?
He needs to be on a spinoff show. I don't know why he doesn't have one, but.
They were talking about it, but maybe they were talking about it, and then all the whole HBO Max, Warner Brothers stuff happened, and they haven't talked about it since. So who knows?
Maybe it got axed, which is a shame because they set that up. Like
they were literally talking about for like the last 2 years.
Yeah, and it's like there's nowhere else for his character to go but a spinoff show. He came full circle. Like I know he's gonna be in an episode of this season or a short cameo, but after that, okay, where's he gonna go? What is he gonna do? Like. I don't know. It's time for him to just be on his own. I felt the same way about Hawk and Dove. But
everyone's like, oh my god, it's gonna be so refreshing to watch the season about the bird people. What if Dawn came back and then everybody said those herbal compliments? Like, oh.
I don't want Dawn to come back. Dawn can just stay right where she is.
I don't really like Dawn. I just realized that I don't really care for her.
I don't care. I didn't care for either.
I care for Hank more than Dawn because at least Hank made me laugh.
True. Dawn
seemed like she didn't know what she wanted to do, and she clearly still had feelings for Dick, but was still like trying to. And I understood why Hank was jealous because it's like, girl, it's so obvious that you still have feelings for Dick, and you're still over.
Right, like, girl, why are you playing with Hank?
And when Hank died, she basically asked Dick to come to Paris with her. I'm like, oh.
Oh my god. This reminds me of Spider-Man that we were watching yesterday with Mary Jane. So just a quick editing note. She and I watched this series the day before filming this. And I know I did a video on the Spider-Man new animated series show. I did a video on it. I gotta revisit that video at some point because I didn't say a lot on Mary Jane Watson, but she was absolutely awful in that show. When it came to relationships, like with Peter, she was horrible. Great friend, terrible significant other. Just no.
Just swooping in once the initial barrier is gone. It's just so weird. Like, and even beyond that, like the way that they utilize that's
what it was like. It's like even when the way they utilized Hawk and Dove, they kind of overtook the entire show because they had full episodes dedicated to just these two people. They have like 5
episodes that are named like Hawk and Dove, Hank and Dove, Hank and Dawn.
It didn't connect to the main story. It didn't connect to the Titans. It was just about them, and it's like we don't care. Put them on a separate show. Like we don't care. I think I got all my ranting out.
Yeah, me too. My stomach just growled.
Oh my god. Guys, that means it's time for us to eat. This was our collab, guys. We talked about Titans. We kind of went all over the map. So, yes, we are very excited for season. Just like the show. So, we're very excited for season 4. Things are looking stable. Things are looking great.
Well, stable for a while till Butter Blood, but you know what? That's okay because that's the unstable thing we want. As long as it's caused by the villain and not the actual team or the writing, we're fine with that.
Have the team stay together, no separation, please. But guys, this is our collab. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for responding to my comment. I was so nervous.
Of course. This was so fun. And we will catch you guys on the next time we collab. I will catch you guys next time whenever that'll be. Oh, yes. And your channel name, again, for the viewers, for the people.
At Aaliyah KB.
Okay, perfect.
I have 3 videos up, and I'm going to make another one probably today or tomorrow about chemistry because I don't know. I need to make more content.
Well, perfect. I will have the channel link in the description and everything. But
same here for my channel.
Yes. So we'll be back at some point. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.